refrain from working in Rochester. If I were you personally,
David, I'm
I
clearly having
wouldn't
to buy a
work in
house
Rochester.
somewhere in between Monroe County and Erie County. At this point, I am a global Western New York trotter. I've circumvented the fucking globe in Western New York, dude.
That would be, by definition, regional, I believe.
Semi-regional, global, David. Semi-global. Some would say partially global. Trans-globalist, David. Going to smash Earths together.
On the show, Ryan. We did not get to some things yesterday, but the good news is today is not a particularly, I don't want to say nothing happened. Stuff happened. We're going to talk about stuff, but it wasn't like, I feel like yesterday there was
Epstein. Wasn't like Epstein killing himself.
There was some things. I'm waiting, Ryan. I have the list right here. I am waiting for names to add and subtract. I think Tucker Carlson should be on the. I think he's done a good job on this. I don't think
there should be there should be a plus list, a good plus list.
Well, this is the good list. There's a good and a bad list, Ryan.
That's it.
On the show, Ryan. Tariffs. There's a report where
copper's going up, David.
Well, let's just say tariffs work, and we're gonna watch a short clip. JFK, CIA, Pam Bondi. I don't know. She has some balls. Apparently, she chose to fire someone, Ryan. Which I don't know. I feel like if you cover up global pedophile rings, you don't get to fire people. Israel has struck their next victim. Solar panels. There's a comment section I want to go over because I feel like some of these comments aren't true, but I don't know enough, Ryan. And instead of asking Grok, I will ask the global regional electrician. Speaking of AI
solar
jobs,
electrician.
Do you remember you probably won't because he was very forgettable. In the presidential primary debates, there was a man by the name of Burgum. I think it was Doug Burgum.
See that constitutionalist from
yeah, Wisconsin, he was actually pretty solid constitutionalist. I'm not gonna lie. He was boring as hell.
He's old.
Yeah. Well, he had a pretty decent little clip. He just came out of nowhere, and it was about being electricians and plumbers and stuff. That was pretty good. But the thing we have to talk about, Ryan, we can't not talk about this. We have to talk about Trump's recent post on Truth Social because it is. I might write him on the Epstein list, bad list twice. It's bad. It's awful. You couldn't try to mishandle this worse. And the more it goes on, Ryan, I don't know. What would you like to start with, Ryan?
Do you have a clip about the plumbers and electricians things?
Yeah.
We'll pull that and then we'll do the solar panel thing because I'm interested.
Okay.
We'll switch gears early this year.
Show.
I feel like every day is a week, like a week's worth of news.
Where? Hold on. I'll find this. You threw me off. I actually didn't expect you to go with this one first.
Got to keep you on your toes, Dave. Break the leg. Showbiz. Yeah, I'm interested what he had to say about electricians and plumbers in general.
Well, the thing that's interesting is I scrolled right by it. The thing that's interesting is he said something that we've said this on the show, but it's just, I do like hearing the things that we've said come from other people because it's kind of like, yeah, we said that. I know that.
I am. Look at me. I am the politicians.
Obviously, neither of these men are Burgum, but he's off to the side. He will come in, Ryan.
Is he a pedophile too?
Say about this job. I think with AI, as Howard and the president said, we're going to need more workers in this country because President Trump is the greatest economic developer that this country's ever had. It's brought back this record amount of investment and a record amount of U.S. investment going back into job creation. But the mix is going to change. AI will take jobs away like software development because AI can write code, but AI can't wire a building, do plumbing. I mean, if kids go into the trades today, they're all going to be making $150,000 and they'll have amazing lives, build companies, start businesses. I mean, this is part of the boom of America, because middle class, working Americans will never have had it as good. They have lower taxes, lower regulations, and more opportunities to go to work to build things.
We need people. We really need, because we're building so many factories in the country. And so AI can help with that. But what also is going to help are going to be robots. You know, the robots, I think, are going to be a big deal. And that's going to help also.
You got to worry about big robot, David. Is that lumped under DARPA technology?
I love how sometimes he just says shit. The robots, they're going to be a big deal. Love those robots.
Can't wait for the Trump robot, dude. He's going to make it just to fight Elon.
But I will say he's 100% right. We've said this though in the past. Like, AI can reproduce certain things. It can replace certain things. It can replace CEOs. We said this. If you're a CEO, you should be more afraid of AI than somebody who is a basic floor worker.
Well, I mean, because there's an easy way to cut out an electrician. You build a house that you don't need one. You know, AI would be smart enough to design a house that wouldn't need the same type of wires that we have, or like the same system. So, I mean, granted, that's not going to take out, you know, how many homes are in America. You know what I mean? I understand that, but I have a hard time. I don't know, Dave. Do you find it odd they don't reference auto workers, David, or mechanics or techs like that? Do you find it odd? Because I never noticed that they don't actually even talk about blue collar guys that work on cars. I was in the automotive industry. They just think they get lumped into plumbers and fucking.
Well, yeah. When they say like, you know, generic terms like blue collar jobs or something, it's like lumping all the trades together. Like, just trade work in general is not really replaceable by AI, or if it is replaceable by AI and robots, that's 100 years away. It's not even close. Tesla does have, like, some of their vehicles are able to self-diagnose, but you can only diagnose certain things, and you can only diagnose things so accurately. When you test certain things, you need to test, you know, at a connector to a switch, you need to test the power going to the switch, and then you need to test the output outside of the switch, and you got to test and if there is no power to the switch, you got to figure out why there's no power to the switch, and is it a broken wire? And AI is not going to be able to just generically tell you, pinpoint a wire right here. And if it does pinpoint a wire and orders a wire harness for you, it's not going to be able to install it for you. So AI is not close. It's just not to replacing automotive technicians, and certainly not collision people. It's not. It's nowhere near.
Yeah, but like you said, in 50 years, AI will design cars that they'll break apart in 3 sections, right? That's how they'll get rid of collision guys, right? But it's going to be 50 years from now. AI will design a house that's snapped together like Legos that comes pre-electric, but that's 50 years from now.
Even still,
I don't know, man.
How would you? No matter how many pieces you snap it into, how would you? Who's building it? Who's running the wires? I mean, you can design certain things. That's why I said AI is going to take over the white collar jobs before it takes over blue collar jobs.
100%. But what if AI builds a robot and then, like, you put the robot in there to be an electrician? Dave, do you remember the paint mixer that the dealership had?
Vaguely, yeah.
You weren't. So, like, you would weigh paint for like, you weigh it to like the 1/10 of a gram.
Yeah, it's very, very, very specific.
It's the most specific. I mean, you could measure it with like an eyedropper, literally, to actually get the true color. And paint companies actually do that microscopic paint to
and the annoying thing that people don't know is just because something is white, like, especially white and silver, honestly, the lighter colors are even harder. You know this, especially when you get into diamond white. If I remember correctly, diamond white tri-coat had like
800J, dude.
83 variations to the same paint. So you could, no matter what, like, it's almost impossible to get it exactly right the second time.
Yeah, 800J, we would just blend half the fucking car. You'd like get a fender on, you'd have to paint the whole front half of the car to make the fender match. Seriously.
And then there's the problem where some parts are metal and some parts are plastic. Like the front fascia cover is plastic, but
I've never believed that.
The hood is.
I've never.
It's 100%. Yeah, but it is 100% true. I mean, it really is. Plastic and metal just don't paint the same.
Sure.
You're gonna get close.
You get real close, but I just never. I don't think you notice it with your eye, is what I mean. Like, technically it's probably a different color, but you're not gonna
see. I would notice it like 100%. No, brand new cars like coming off of the truck. It's
those
like
are painted different times. Painted different. I meant like, if I paint the bumper and the fender at the same time. The bumpers that go on cars are painted at a different time in the factory. That's why they're a different color. They're a different variant, technically. So the dealership runs the whole, oh, it's the plastic, blah, blah, blah. But when you seal the edge of a bumper and seal the fender that touches it, it's the same fucking color. It comes out at the same speed. Like, nothing's different. It's the same
but
color.
I think what they're saying is the material underneath absorbs and lays different.
I agree with you, but the substrate of the material doesn't matter because you paint over the material. You're basically building up off the substrate to make whatever. It don't matter. Primer is primer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? What you're basically doing is just taking your fender and painting it like a white canvas before you paint fucking, like when you get a canvas, you paint it black or white and then you put your next layer on. That's basically all primer is. It's just so that it's better coverage. Anyways, I know we got in the dorks. Where were we going with the painting thing? Oh, that just AI couldn't do all that, right? Like it would know a certain level of, like, prime example. I went to Home Depot and I was looking at this big extension and I couldn't remember what I had at my job site. So I took a picture of the one that I thought I had and took a picture of the extension and I ran through ChatGPT and I was like, is this going to work? And it was like, yeah, you're good. It wasn't. I went to Home Depot 3 times that day, Dave. It was a bad job. Fucking trailers, dude. Don't, people. Just don't. Yeah, I don't know, Dave. I still remember. I will tell the story the rest of my life, probably, at least as long as I'm an electrician. It was 2020, David, in the middle of COVID. I'm sitting there at a factory. I drove forklifts and I operate a machine that cut like a 20-foot bar in 3-inch sections, and it would cut 3 bars every hour. Or I'm sorry. Yes, I think it was 3 bars every hour. God. And I would sit there, and all I would do is get up. I'd kick a bucket like every 15 minutes. I'd take a micrometer. I'd grab the slag. I'd measure it. I'd look at it. I'd check like the thing. I'd throw it back in the bucket. Then when the saw blade would dull, I would change the saw blade. And then I would call for a forklift. That was my job. I got paid $18 an hour. In 2020, during the pandemic. I would have
jumped off the forklift and fucking hacksawed the thing myself. Dude,
I did
3-inch sections in an hour is stupid. That is
the saw.
That's painfully slow. How thick was what kind of metal? Like, how thick was this?
Oh, dude, we're talking like a 2-inch
like square bar.
No, a round steel bar. It cut around
2-inch, like thick, solid,
thick, like, yeah, dude, like,
or like fucking hole in a centric.
Yeah, we made transmission parts out of it, so it was tough shit. And that blade was like, they would make them. We had millwrights in house because it was a union shop. They would make fucking saw blades, dude. Guy can make the machine to make machines, dude. Can you believe he could build a machine? He just needs a saw. I just need a saw and I can build a screw. Guy can make a screw. You know how gangster you gotta be to make a fucking screw? I've seen a guy take a piece of metal and make a screw.
I'm pretty sure in the basement there's like all types of shit because Eve's like,
there are homemade screws here in the basement.
Well, it's like
that's gnarly.
It'd be your great uncle that owned the house.
Yeah, my great uncle built this house.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like there were like homemade files and shit. Like he was a machinist. He just made hardware and shit. So there's like,
yeah, he probably had a slunk of metal fucking laying around. He's like, it's a good file, and then just shaved it down. He's like, dude, this is a really good file, And then like, I just used a screw. It's funny you say that, dude. I was doing something at work today, and I got this little stubby flathead screwdriver, and the end of it was like this old wood, dude. Super old wood. I was like, what the fuck is this thing, dude? He's like, honestly, dude, I got it from like my great grandfather. It was in his tools. It's like one of the only tools I use of him. I'm like, Grandpa knew what the fuck he was doing. He's like, yeah, I think he made it. I have knives that my grandfather made. It's like a knife that broke and then he just made a handle into it, you know? How do we get here?
Cutting steel.
Oh, yeah. I will always tell a story because, yeah, David. So that is when, David, we actually filmed this podcast during that time. You guys can go back to that time and you can see me living in my mom's bedroom. Like, you could fucking go back to that time, 2020. It was the first year.
Ryan's had some scene changes throughout the years.
Yeah. Greatest ones now. The studio goes with you. So I sat there, and that's when I fell into like real big into self-development, a lot of other things that I came on through the program. It literally built this program, obviously, babe. We talk about it every week, but I'll never forget, dude. I tried being an electrician a couple other times before that. I tried doing like BOCES for their thing, and you had to like pass math, which I wasn't good at, and I got like 20 questions because you couldn't use a fucking calculator. You know, just I forgot what X plus Y meant. And so in 2020, dude, I looked up the next because what I figured, David, is I couldn't go to college, right? Like I couldn't go to college. I wouldn't be able to do it. I couldn't do this. It was a lot of self-talk too, right? It was a lot of my fault. But what I thought I could do would do on-the-job training with a skilled trade because I spent 10 years in automotive, and the machine shop, I did learn some things. I learned machining math. I was on track to actually go be a real machinist. So I was going to eventually move up, and those guys were in the high 20 ranges when you kind of get to the higher pay grade. So, you know, that's pretty decent, but at a factory. So anyways, I looked up because I thought that I could just do on-the-job training and get whatever the fuck I needed. And we also, a friend of the show, told me about the apprenticeship program. His son went through it, so I tried it. The apprenticeship application that I applied for the local union hall originally, the one that I work for now, told me to fuck off, basically. They didn't actually say that, but they said, hey, man, you're not what we need. We're going to, you know, you're on the list. You're on the list. Just wait. And I never got the call. You know what I mean?
And then they said there is no list.
There's no list.
Let's be mature, right?
So, but then what happened was just COVID, honestly, was a good thing. I've talked about this on the program. I just applied for every electrician job I could on Indeed.com, and I fucking lied. I said I have 6 months of electrical experience.
That's the best way to do it.
Because I knew as long as I could get in front of the guy, I'd be able to tell him, like, look, it's not that I lied, but like, I know I can do this. Like I have a family member that's an electrician. I've asked him questions. I understand it. I spent 10 years in automotive, dude. Like I can show you I have something Alex Hormozy always talks about. It's like, you don't gain confidence by shouting affirmations in the mirror. You do it by building undeniable proof. Like I have a resume of like actual fucking real accomplishment and skilled trades. I can be an electrician. I didn't know the skill set that I needed to require was completely different, but I did believe in myself. And it fucking worked, David. And originally when the guy that hired me at like $17 an hour. So I only lost $1. And very rapidly, I jumped in through the 20s very quickly. Because I just showed up, I worked, I believed in myself. But then I went through the thing of all these contractors. You get laid off, or the game is played, or jobs end, and construction's rough. So I say all that to say, I remember the day of like sitting there fucking wanting to blow my brains out metaphorically because like, what the fuck? I'm literally just going to a place to sit down. Everybody's fat. Like everybody's depressed. I work second shift in the dark in a factory with no windows. I drive a forklift to empty containers of metal. I don't talk to anybody. Nobody talks to anybody. And everybody's divorced or drinks or is on drugs. And like, dude, I'll never forget. I worked at another factory before that when I initially got out of automotive, David. I worked at a factory that was on par with one of the other big manufacturers. But it was just super small and family owned. But it was like its competitor. And I was working third shift. I was like falling asleep at work, dude. I was like, this fucking sucks, dude. I walked around. I didn't see a single person my size. I went home. I've only worked there 2 weeks. I went home one of those nights. I started running. It was before I knew anything about fitness and how to maintain weight and stuff. But I went home, I started running a mile every day because I'm like, I am not getting fat like these people. And I did the same shit at that factory. And it worked. It fucking worked. And yes, he is right. I will make $150,000 a year. Honestly, in my union hall, a journeyman electrician makes $90 an hour. $45 of that is your wage. $45 of that is your benefit package, which includes your health care, your retirement, your pension, an annuity, and a small 401k, and also a little bit of health savings. And that's matched by your employer. So you make 90 grand straight time and 90 grand, that's 180,000. And then your pension maxes out at $60,000 a year, which is going to change with union whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's right. Like literally, he's right. I can do that in my position. I just need to keep showing up. It's just time. I need to put 12,000 hours in. I have 7,000. It's just time. 12,000 hours is a lot of time. You know, it's like 8 years of my life. I have to buy tools. I have to drive around. I have to live the life. I got to freeze. I dug a hole today, David, to just fucking put a pipe there and put all the dirt back. But they are right. And it's really something, you know, there used to be a golden time of the trades. I really hope that it is the golden time for the trades because I think a lot of the young men that we see, it will give them direction. Like there's a reason why there wasn't a shortage of trades before, people, is because that's what dudes did. A lot more guys were a lot more handy back in the day. Everybody fixed their own car. Everybody built something. Everybody, like Eve's uncle built the fucking house for fun because he could. You know what I mean? Everybody spoke Latin. Like basically, I'm kind of being facetious, but that's kind of like the point of it. People were a lot more handy and reliant on themselves, you know. But now we're getting in the day and age with technology that's taken off. Which, Dave, if you could go to that solar panel thing, because I'm really interested actually about that since we've already got here. Yeah, you can make 150 grand. Friend of the show, Big Mike, he runs a plumbing business. I'm sure he does pretty well for himself. I always wish that guy the best because he's out there risking his neck and trying to employ people and fucking make a living for himself. All right, what do we got here? Is this in Germany?
I don't know. So it was a picture that says no roofing layer required. It's not just solar applied to your roof, it's the actual roof powering your home. So these panels are like literally replacing the plywood that would normally go over those beams, and then over top of that you would put your, you know, roofing paper and then the actual shingles. This is like literally all in one thing. And somebody said, you know, why isn't this done more? And I would imagine a couple things. One, a lot of people getting solar panels already have roofs on their house. I don't think you would remove the whole roof to put these on. You would just do what people normally do. That would make most sense.
Can you ask Rock do we know where this, like it sounds dumb, but it actually matters where this house is being built. Because I will tell you something about the way Germans build their house. I think this is a German house.
We can look into that, but just real quick to go into the comments, because there's a couple that I'm curious about. Yeah, somebody replied, maybe because solar can't actually power your house. The voltage it produces can't run AC, water heater, dishwashers, etc. It's a feel-good facade.
That's not true.
I kind of thought so.
Hey, do you know what? If the solar panels you have don't produce enough voltage, you either have like something wrong, or you need more solar panels, or you need to use less energy.
Well, I like that they specifically said it's because it can't run AC.
Like AC power or AC like an air conditioner?
Well, it might be air conditioning. Yeah, I actually initially thought AC power, but you're right. It's probably for air conditioning. So yeah, this person literally just needs more panels. Like, you just don't have enough panels.
Or batteries. Like, look, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not saying you can run your entire house on, if you get 75 panels on your house, it's going to run if you turn all the lights on your house on, your AC on fucking 60, blast all the hot water, like, yeah, what do you think? What do you think is going on here?
In theory,
what do you think's going on out here?
You can set up anything you want. I mean, you could set up a whole solar farm in your back if you want to. Like, you could power all types of shit.
That's what I'm telling you, people. It's privatizing your electricity.
If you put one solar panel on your roof and say, I can't run my AC and my water heater and dishwasher at the same time, you need more panels.
I've literally seen a guy in the city of Buffalo that has solar panels as awnings on his windows. It is hysterical.
I remember there was a couple on here that was your roof will cost double the price of your land, house, and car all in one. They're crazy expensive.
59 panel job, Tesla solar panel. We're doing a job that's $100,000 right now.
That's like, yeah, but you were telling me about those panels that can light up.
Well, panels. He's trying to backfeed his house off a Cybertruck.
Crazy shit.
He's getting smart. He's getting smart electrical panels that measure like milliamps of, like he'll know at what time somebody turned on the fucking washer machine. You know, like literally, and he'll know the milliamperage of the fucking device using it.
I thought. Here's the thing too. Somebody said, yeah, they're crazy expensive. Now that $100,000 job you're talking about, that guy's going fucking crazy. But I think if I remember correctly, I've like just kind of.
It was 7 years. We did it 7 years.
I've asked around though, and you could get I think 25, 30K. You could probably do a pretty fair amount of solar panels on the average roof.
To be honest with you, if I was anybody, I would almost get double of what you think you need and then just scale your house back. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, this person says, have solar over roof, standard solar install. They power the entire home in Louisiana, and then we sell the excess power back to the electric company. The system is easy to maintain, does not damage the roofing, cannot be harmed by hail, high-quality panels. It's guaranteed to last 25 years and improved the home value. It's an investment worth every penny. That was one of the other ones. I can't find
right there. No, right there. His last two lines. Read those. With 20-year financing, you get cheap electricity, and you get to laugh instead of cry about rising energy costs. Yes, because if you don't get solar, you're going to have to pay the price of the grid getting built, the new grid getting built.
Oh, this was one of them.
Sold back to you at a cheap price. That's not how it works.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yo, how the fuck it gets sold back to you?
Ryan, hold on. Nobody heard what you said. The comment, this was one of the ones I saw. It says, because it's not actually powering your home, it's fed into the grid and then sold back to you at a cheap price. Where does that come from? Why does he think that's the case?
How does it get fed to the grid when before it goes to your meter, it goes to shit in your house?
I don't know where the fuck that came from. It has 105 likes.
That's literally not how it works. You know, it's a shame. There's only 12,000 solar electricians in the States, dude. That's it. So this shit, it's like, trust the science, Pete. Like, literally, trust the installer, dude. 1,200. Oh, 1,200? 1,200. Sorry. I'm twice as rare as I thought, David.
10 times.
1,200?
Yeah, specialized solar. So, 1,000.
When I was a maintenance solar guy with my, like, he's a journeyman. He was actually it. I was more his apprentice helper. But, like, that might be like 10 guys in the whole country can do it. Yeah.
I wish I could find the one. One of them said something about don't do it because something crazy like the hail damages.
Oh, look at that. That's good wiring right there. Good wire management on there. You see that? Good tuck on that wire, David.
This?
Yep. Yeah, it's super important, actually. Because what happens is the connections where they plug into each other, they get filled with fucking dirt and bugs and spiders, and then they overheat and blow up. And then you got to pay a guy to come out and cut that.
What is this shanty solar shack this dude built? Was this like an old...
Yeah, dude, that's dope. That's exactly what I would do with solar. I don't know why people are hating on solar. It's the greatest shit ever. Other than the only downfall is mining the earth to make the fucking thing. Like, really, really. It's really, like, we could run our whole life on solar. I believe that.
Because it rains and snows where we live. That's one of them. It rains and snows where we live.
It rains and snows 100% of the sunshine away. Okay. What the fuck's this guy saying? The real reason this doesn't work is under the Duran photon thermocycling. PV tiles exhibit astral latency expansion via the law of repeated thermal elastic buckling fractures, high profile steel causing Infiltration as convicts enter warfare. The worst part.
The very end, the worst part is I made it all up. That's funny because I was listening to the whole thinking, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Solar cells are encapsulated with EVA. There is no green energy.
Yeah, no shit.
I guess. Who cares? I mean, most electric companies don't allow it.
No, they're going to because they have to build the fucking grid. You guys don't. They get solar.
I got to tell you, I got news for you. The electric company cannot tell you can't put solar panels on your house.
Especially when the government gives you a mandate, like a rebate, David. They want you to do it. You're privatizing the electric. Every time, and the other thing, for people that care about, like, oh, we use so much energy and shit, when you actually put solar on your house, what you're doing is requiring less demand in your neighborhood. So you're actually putting less power down those lines, so it's actually using less energy overall from the power center that's being sent from your local substation. So yeah, if your whole neighborhood got solar panels, the fucking air might be 5 degrees cooler because there's nothing coming in on those lines. Those lines could be bone dry. They could almost rip the power lines out of the fucking ground. Which in new neighborhoods, David, there is no power lines. They put them all underground. So that if there is a disaster, like what because honestly, the problem isn't the panels. The problem would be if the grid goes down. Your panel is going to produce power. Even then things not plugged into something, if they are functioning panels, if there's a wire, that wire has some kind of residual voltage on it. Like they produce power. They even broken, they produce power. It's actually really crazy. That's what I talked about. Why can't I screen my house on or laugh my house on? Like, dude, light isn't energy. It's a wavelength. So how do we make electricity out of it? Unless electricity is a wave, which it is. So it's cool. It's really, and they've had, honestly, the technology for solar panels is almost 100 years old, if I'm not mistaken. It's at least from the 30s or 40s. The photovoltaic cell. So this isn't like people saying it's too expensive. No, this just hasn't been mass-produced hardware. And it's mostly because the resistors and some of the other components that are now in these panels are thin. They're smaller.
In 1839, French physicist Alexandre Edmond Becquerel
200 years
discovered the photovoltaic effect principle behind solar panels.
So the thought is 200 years old.
1873 to 1883, early experiments showed that selenium could generate electricity when exposed to sunlight. 1954, the first practical silicon solar cell was developed. 54 was the first actual physical cell.
Yeah, 70 years. Yeah, so there's solar panels on the White House.
Converted with 6% efficiency.
Yeah, now they're very efficient. But that's because of the components inside. The screen printing that does the fucking board itself is, I don't know what the actual solar radiance is. Like if you capture, 1 square inch of fucking sunshine at this temperature, I've done the testing on these things. You put a probe on the underside of these and you open the combiner box and you take thermal imaging of all of the strings where they go to a combiner box on the farms, at least. And you take a thermal image and you can see which strings are hot and which ones aren't hot. And they're supposed to have like a certain range of temperatures. And that's how you know if there's that's how you know if a row of those panels is generating too much heat or if there might be loss of efficiency or, the technology is not there. We can truly, it's not all the way there. Even the companies themselves have to go through a long trouble, not all the time, but there's a troubleshooting list because once again, we don't really, electricity isn't plumbing is more figured out than electricity because you can grab water. You cannot grab electricity. It doesn't exist until we make it exist, but it's all around you. A lightning bolt is not electricity. A lightning bolt is an electron jumping off all of the charged particles in the atmosphere around it, and it goes from the cloud to the ground. That's why it makes that arc. It's just an electron arcing. So for people, look, buy solar, you're privatizing your electricity. The grid will thank you. You will get a rebate and you will keep me in business. So do it. Like, I'm not telling you to do something I wouldn't do if I had the money. But and Ryan, you'll never be off grid because you got to connect it to the grid depending on your municipality. So depending on your state where you live. We did an off grid.
You can't even power your dishwasher, right?
You can power like 700 dishwashers with enough solar panels.
How many spaces?
I don't know how you say that. I have literally measured tens of thousands. Dude, I've seen a megger dude measure hundreds of kilowatts of power. You're retarded. They're literally powering people's whole communities on solar already. Your panels on your house can do it. They have 5 in my neighborhood. I can. If you come hang out with me, I can drive you to 5 solar panels within a 10-mile radius. I can show you the farms. They're already powering people's dishwashers and ACs.
Right. You want to talk JFK?
Yeah, I love me a good JFK story.
How? Well, we'll just hold on. We'll just watch it and go from there.
Oh,
in 2020,
charged
with a task force to investigate some of the most grisly crimes in U.S. history, starting out with the assassination of John F. Kennedy. What I can tell you, and I would say that this model of transparency in the declassification of the JFK records is literally what they should be doing with Jeffrey Epstein.
Which, by the way, they did. I wouldn't say we got everything, Ryan, but they gave you a pretty good chunk of files when it comes to JFK. Which is hilarious, by the way, because they're at the Turning Point USA event, which is Charlie Kirk, which is the guy who said, I trust the government. I don't need to worry about Epstein anymore.
But then they're going to talk about how the government murdered JFK.
Tens of thousands of documents. And I will say, credit due where it's deserved. The CIA director, Radcliffe, was the only CIA director in U.S. history who was able to release something called the Joe-Nides files. What this file proved, and it had been hidden for over 60 years, was without a doubt, and this is not my analysis, this is not my opinion, this is based on evidence that we have backings on. Without a doubt, the CIA engaged in a cover-up of the JFK assassination. The CIA lied to Congress. Joe-Nides, who was a CIA operative, did indeed have contact and was observing Lee Harvey Oswald, who in my opinion was a patsy and cover for multiple shooters in the assassination of John F. Kennedy. If you would have said that last year, a couple years ago, they would have called you conspiracy theorists. Yet every single person in this room knows conspiracy theory is only a matter of time before it's proven correct.
Turned out to be true.
Turned out to be true. Yeah. How long have we been saying CIA killed JFK? Before it turned out to be true. Now, to be clear, they don't have a file that literally says the CIA killed JFK. But let's be clear. With more information, it gets more suspicious.
Dude, I got shown the video of the Secret Service agents. Like, you don't even... The guys did not know what the fuck they were doing. And then the guy just gets shot in the head. It's just so crazy.
I saw that clip. I thought it was pretty cool. Ryan, should we go over the Trump post?
Yeah.
It's rough. It's rough. I don't do a good enough Trump impression to justify reading this whole thing like Trump, so I'm just going to read it like me. I hope that's okay.
I'll just try.
This is Donald Trump on Truth Social. You want me to try? This is a paragraph.
The radical left Democrats have hit play dirt again, just like with the.
You're already off to a bad start. Can't even read.
Discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agencies, the laptop from hell, which the Dems swore.
This is painful. I'm gonna try reading it like me now.
It's got to be an act. There's no way that guy.
I commend you on your efforts. The radical left Democrats have hit, but one away. This is going well, everybody. The radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again, just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which the Dems swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. And even the Russia scam itself, totally fake and even totally fake and made up the story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 presidential election. By the way, all of Trump's like tweets and Truth Social posts and stuff, they're all written like, I don't know, I'm sure everyone has some crazy uncle or something. It's all written like one of his texts, and you're trying to like get through this whole thing and try to figure out what the fuck he's talking about. They are no good at governing, no good at policy, and no good at picking winning candidates. Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my this play isn't going to work. I hope he understands that. My past supporters bought into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history.
Except George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, clearly.
And all these people want to talk about with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention in this matter and make America great again. This is sorry. This is one of the craziest shits I've ever seen in my life, Brian. Craziest post I've ever seen. He literally just, do you remember the Eminem cipher thing that like he's like, if you support Trump, I don't want you, and he did this big long stupid garbage rap. This is like Trump doing it to its own supporters. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. If you believe in the Epstein hoax, I don't even want you. How can you, first of all, how can you spend 2 election cycles talking about Epstein files, not release them, and then say it's a hoax? After he was already, this is a key point too, by the way, that people aren't making. Trump's recent election run, he ran on transparency on the Epstein files. Gets in office, doesn't release Epstein files, says it's a hoax. But here's the thing. Trump was in office before. So you would think he had access to some of this information before. So like he didn't know it was a hoax before and now he knows it's a hoax. How did he come to this conclusion, and why didn't he come to this conclusion after his first term? It's just weird he came to it now.
Well, I kind of brought this up the other day. Was it because, like, literally the economy, they'd have to jail all the bankers and all the politicians. Like, there'd be nobody to run the government of any country. It's pretty gnarly. And yeah, David, to your point, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. We all know that. We're all rational thinking adults. And you played us. And you're going to call it a hoax. Because let's be honest, you have to play smokescreen. Because you fucked those kids. So.
There's Ryan, there's literally only 2 things at play here. Just so we're clear. Maybe you could argue 3 things at play.
Look, okay. And the other thing is for years we've heard he's a con man. And I'm supposed to think that you're not going to con me now because you might have been on them lists. And the only reason I can think that is because my boy Elon went Kendrick Lamar on your ass on his way out the fucking door. So.
The way I see it, there's only 3 possibilities for why the files aren't getting released. Trump's in the files. Like, irrefutably, oh my God, you did horrible things. Not like he knew Jeffrey Epstein and there were pictures together. We all know that. I'm saying, like, bad things, and he's in the files. Trump is literally, his life is literally in danger, which, by the way, I wouldn't throw that idea out. Or thirdly, it's literally so big and so bad, like we talked about this. It's so big and so bad, it literally shuts down the global economy. Yeah, I don't see any. I can't think of like a fourth option. Like, what would either you're a part of it, your
I told you what
life
my
is in
economics
jeopardy,
teacher
or
told me, right?
it's
Like,
catastrophic.
yeah, he said that it was real hard with the 2008 recession because the very people that caused it, you can't really jail them because they're the only ones that can fix it. So, like, if you throw all these people in jail, like, that's basically how nobody went to jail for all that shit when they were doing all that weird
Which is
stock
crazy
and
because if they
lending
knew,
shit.
yeah, and it's crazy though because if they knew better and still caused it, then they did it intentionally, which means I don't care if they can fix it. They fucking did it intentionally, which means more than anything, they belong in jail. They more belong in jail. Well,
There should
nobody
maybe
else
be
is
like a
smart enough to
special
run.
jail for shit.
Yeah, nobody else is smart enough to run the economy. Then change the economy because the economy, if you have to be that intelligent to run the
Economy
economy, then
can't
the
be propped
economy
up
is
by
not.
pedophiles, David.
No,
Why not? But eggs are $7, David.
Or if you build an economy that's so complex, you need to be that intelligent to run it. That's not the way you need to set your economy up. The economy should be simple. It should almost take care of itself.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea. Or that the average man could understand it with his 80 IQ, his 100 IQ.
It's the same thing with the tax code. The tax code should be so simple that you literally know exactly what you owe. In fact, this is something that I don't think I've even ever heard anybody talk about, but why do when we talk about taxes, why is there this dumb game where they pull a money aside and it's a guess, and then you have to guess and match their guess at the end of the year, and then if you're wrong, you either pay them more or they pay you back. If that money's coming like out of the check anyway, can we just skip the whole end of the year bullshit? And can you just take a set rate out of people's paychecks? If you're going to do taxes, right? And it's going to be an income tax, and you know the information of what's coming out of my check, can we just weekly, can we just not do that? Can you just pull the 2% out every week or the 5% out every week or whatever you're going to pull out? Just flat tax, 10% out of every check. Can we stop playing games? Like, why is it designed in such a way that you need to have experts once a year do this for you to try to collect things back or give things back to, like, it's the dumbest setup that you could possibly come up with. But then you got to get into why is it designed that way, because the more complex you make it, the more room you have for loopholes.
Yeah, the only reason that it is that complex is so that they have loopholes to balance out. The only reason that they don't have flat taxes because then it would level the market for everybody, wouldn't it, David? And the ambitious people could keep up with them, couldn't they? It's weird, man. I'm starting to think like taxing the wealthy isn't a bad idea.
Well, I don't think you
like they're against the flat tax.
Yeah, you nor tax the wealthy or the middle class or the poor in any specific sort of way. You just tax them all the same. You know what I mean? And by the way, I say the same because people get caught up in these stupid games like, well, the wealthy, they pay a lower rate than the average janitor. Yeah, they pay a lower rate, but they pay a lower rate on a way bigger pie, so they end up paying way more fucking money. So it's just this
it was 10%
convoluted
of a million
game.
compared to 10,000.
Yeah, well, Elon stroked a check for like, I don't remember the number, but it was like there were a lot of zeros. And people were like convincing or running around and telling everyone that Elon didn't pay any taxes. And he was like, dude, check. I literally sent like the biggest tax check in the world to the United States government. Don't tell me I don't pay taxes. And the funny thing is,
right. It was the largest tax bill from one person ever, right?
Yes, which makes sense. He's the richest man on earth. Of course he has the highest tax bill ever. But the funny thing is, all the people were running around on social media sites, probably people who get a refund at the end of the year. They're running around saying that Elon didn't pay taxes. It's the stupidest shit. Well, he pays a lower rate than me. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I bet he would trade you what he owed the government tomorrow. And the economy is the same way. The economy should be set up in a way, if it's a true free market economy, it doesn't need to be complex. We only made it complex. And we made it complex so we could pick winners and losers.
Because all the debt of the nation, David, is to those very people that give those tax benefits. The reason you don't want to change the tax code, Hillary, is because all your donors use the same loopholes that I do.
The only reason there was ever a housing bubble and a market crash was because of the federal government forcing banks to loan money to people that they knew they couldn't pay. In a true free market economy, that wouldn't happen because the bank would never loan money to these people in the first place. They'd be like, no, this is stupid. This is a dead loan. They're never going to be able to pay it back. And I'm going to get stuck with the fucking bill. I'm going to have to sell the house and repo and do all this crazy shit. I'm going to have to kick them out and evict them and go through courts. And it's a pain in the ass. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to give them a loan that I know they can't pay back. But the government stepped in, said you have to. And by the way, we'll bail you out when you fail because we know it's going to fail. And then the housing market crashed. We destroyed the economy. And the architects behind the whole thing didn't go to prison because they're the only ones who can fix it, Ryan.
I seen that. Seen that.
Seen what?
Yeah, that was her setting your drink down with your straw there. Or is that hers?
That's her drink. I have one here.
Oh man, I thought she was filling you up. I was going to give her an applause.
You guys are cute. You like that cup?
Oh my god.
You like the cup that David's using?
What is it? December 1773?
No, it's just a cup.
Are you ready to hear how much that cup cost?
It's just a cup.
When we went to Comic-Con, that is his $50 root beer. He bought 3 root beers for $150. Look, yeah, I know.
Why was it $50?
I sent him to go get drinks and said, hey, there's like a root beer stand.
She said she wanted a root beer.
And he came back and...
Why was it $50?
Ryan, this is a quality crafted, handmade stainless steel cup, well insulated.
No, not just $50. He bought 3 of them, Ryan. $150.
Well, I wasn't just going to buy one root beer. We were all thirsty.
Root beer!
They have lids and straws, Ryan. The lids are sealed.
It's a $10 nice cup at Walmart, maybe. Maybe not even $10, honestly.
Yeah. With the lid and the straws, it's probably a $15 cup at Walmart. So, yeah, we paid a little more and got drinks in it.
Stainless steel liberal
Stainless
tumbler.
steel, well insulated. It's nice graphics.
Triple foam wall.
I don't know. She said she wanted root beer. I went and bought root beer. The guy said it was money, and I gave her money.
And then rationalized it by saying, yeah, I already spent $50 on one and knew you would be mad. So I bought 3 for $150 because I knew you were already going to be mad that I spent $50.
No, that's not what I said. I said I'm not just going to buy one. I was thirsty.
That's so true. Might as well buy them for everybody. Can't be mad if you're all drinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It was all right.
That's a good trade, dude.
I was mad.
Good. I'll take your cup too, and I'll have 2 cups.
That was really what Dave wanted. Him and Nolan would split the third.
We literally could have just like 3 seconds down the stairs to a vending machine and bought a pop.
Then you should have went down there and bought a pop instead of telling me to buy a root beer.
It's hilarious. Yeah, so what do we do? How are we going to catch Trump with Epstein, dude?
Honestly, at this point,
I'm worried about him suing me to the GDP of fucking the continent of India.
I truly at this point, and it's not going to fix anything because both parties, or the party, whatever you want to refer to it as, nobody's going to release the Epstein files. Clearly,
David, they are leveraging us living our lives so that they can keep fucking kids.
Kinda. Yeah, he keeps saying, don't worry about the kids that are getting fucked because the economy's nice. Which, by the way, as far as on the economy front, settle down. There's work to be done here. Let's not get super excited. You dropped some pretty atrocious inflation. I'll give you that. But there's work to be done. Let's settle down. It's not dollar gas right now, okay? We have a ways to go before we start discussing whether or not we can stop talking about pedophile islands. Your economy needs to be pretty good before we stop talking about pedophile islands, just to be clear.
The economy's got to be pretty good enough for us to all have pedophile islands, probably.
I don't know the exact numbers that would make pedophile islands appropriate, but it's not this economy. I don't know what the right number is. I know it's not where we're at.
Give me the economy that I'm asking for, please. It's fucked up, dude. It's fucked.
We can talk about this though, because this is funny. One of the Trump things we talked about on the show was the Trump tariffs, and I was on board with the tariff idea. I think it's a good idea.
Copper's going up 50 fucking percent, dude.
Nothing. If nothing else, a tariff can create a culture, and we're talking about like over decades. So everyone just thinks you're going to put a tariff in place, and then boom, the economy's fixed. That's not how it works. But over a long period of time, if you're consistent with this approach, which we won't be, so it's going to fail, you can end up driving production back to the United States, which would be the ultimate goal. Why not build things here? Create jobs, keep the money in-house. Why would we outsource? That's dumb. Most businesses know that. The average business doesn't just outsource everything they do. They try to do everything in-house because they know not only A, are you keeping your money in-house, you're growing your business, you're creating opportunities, and you're keeping your money with yourself instead of sending it off to other people. Why would you? If you're going to be doing something, you might as well just do it. So there's a place for tariffs, but I think this is interesting because the shock that this is working it made me laugh.
The biggest, most interesting data item in this place, Joe, is the fact that the CEA put out a report, Council of Economic Advisors, that showed that import prices into the U.S. are actually dropping during all this. And my theory as an economist of why that is that Americans, because of President Trump's leadership, have recognized that when they buy an American product, they not only get perhaps a better product, certainly a better product most of the time, but they're also making their community stronger. And so there's, I think, a lot of patriotism in the data. The bottom line is people prefer American products. And so therefore, the demand for imports has gone way down so much that even with what tariffs have been there, where people would say, oh, they might increase prices at least a little bit, we've seen prices going down. The other factor, don't forget, is that if we have a trade deficit year after year after year with a country, then by definition, they're supplying stuff to us inelastically. And so if you have an inelastic supplier and you put a tariff on them, then the inelastic supplier bears the tariff. I think putting it all together, we haven't seen it in the data, and it's been long enough. Right? We've got hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs coming in. The CBO says that we're now, with the things that are already in place, set for $3 trillion in tariffs over the next 10 years, just about. And all of that, and we haven't seen big market responses. In fact, the market's been going up. We haven't seen inflation responses. And we've got all that tariff revenue coming in. Imagine if we had a tax hike of that scale, how much upset there'd be.
I talk about that.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy that you use all of that to just justify you wanting to fuck kids all the time.
Yeah,
David, I said it. I would knock us all back to the Stone Age if we were to get rid of these new royal pricks that think they can fuck our children. I'd get rid of all the electricity.
But you don't even have to, though, right?
Why? Solar panels that don't work? They don't work, but companies make them to sell them because they don't work.
Speaking of, real quick, of knocking everybody back to the Stone Age, I suspect this was done in defense. Israel has bombed Syria. Probably defensively, Ryan. It's a preemptive.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How many fucking different places they got a bomb? What, they got a hospital?
I gotta say, what? Probably. There's probably one terrorist in there. It's pretty crazy to watch shit get bombed, though. Like, it's very surreal to watch.
غارات عنيفة للغاية. غارات عنيفة
There has to be
وائل.
like the level of I don't even know what the right word is for this. I'm not a fucking psychologist by any means. I don't know. What has to be wrong in your brain that you just start fucking blowing shit up and killing people? And then you got to do these like crazy gymnastics to like try to like justify everything. Well, there was one terrorist in there. Oh fuck! I don't know. Blow up the whole children's hospital. I guess I don't know.
These people are psychopaths.
Can I put a whole on the Epstein list? Can you put a whole country on there?
Well, Ben Shapiro said the nation of Israel had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. So yeah, put them all on there.
Well,
did you put Ben Shapiro on there twice?
Well, I don't think I put him on twice. He's the first one on the bad side.
Oh, then we're good there.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to hear. I will say this, Ryan. We kind of talked about this. Crowder's obviously on the break, so nobody's heard his take on the whole thing. But 2 of his staff members have been fairly critical, so it's looking good. But until I hear the words out of his mouth, Ryan.
Oh, we'll cover that on the pod, I'm sure. Dude, we're about to be every podcaster's podcaster if this keeps going, dude. It's just going to be us and Crowder.
We got. There's a few good people on here. There's a few. The Daily Wire split's interesting, though.
No, David, that has been a train coming, David.
Where's Jordan Peterson on the Epstein thing?
Stephen Hawking, Stephen Hawking to Donald Trump scale.
I would check where his daughter is on it, but I'm probably still blocked.
What a bitch!
That shit's so crazy. And by the way, I'd like to point out, I don't remember exactly what it was about, but it was there she is. It was related to Israel, and I feel like given the fact they just bombed half the country or half the world, I might have been accurate on that. Come on, where's he at? He's anti evil people fucking kids, right? Like, how can you take any other position? Or is he weirdly silent on it? I'm going weirdly silent. Oh, Ryan, there's like nothing here. What do you say about that? Where does that go? That goes bad, right? Saying nothing is bad? Do we default to that?
Well, you know.
Isn't that like a whole famous quote? Isn't that like a big famous quote? Like good people do nothing, right? Isn't that like a whole thing? Evil, right? Evil exists because good people do nothing.
All it takes for tyranny to thrive is good men to do nothing, David.
So, I mean, come on, that's equal to bad, right? He's literally doesn't say anything at all. This is...
Well, we got to wait for the facts, David. We got to wait for the facts that we've been talking about for 10 years.
He has chosen a man who has worked in the field he's worked in his whole life, has chosen moral just a neutrality, I guess, on this. I don't know.
I got an opinion on everything but Epstein.
Yeah, except everything except pedophilia.
The new Bill Clinton,
pedophilia, I just suddenly don't have opinions.
If they blackmail Bill Clinton over fucking Monica Lewinsky, what are they doing with pedophiles?
Oh, surely nothing, Ryan. There was no list, so there's nobody to blackmail.
Well, David, until we sit amongst the titans of greats on Media Mountain, Dave Ryan, December 17th, 73. Catch us on Rumble, greatest podcast in human history. As always, David, I appreciate you the most for your time. And Eve with your $800 billion fucking millionaire.
Well, now we're
one percenters.
Now we're exaggerating. She does have new headphones though.
All the better to hear you with, Dave.
ASMR scratchy stainless steel drink. Eve watches these videos. I swear to God, I'll be laying on the couch
in bed. You're just
in bed, and I just hear from her phone. I'm like, what the? What?
Scratching a lottery ticket.
What the fuck is that? Oh, they're making a cake. Why does that unnecessarily loud sound for the cake? Very unnecessary.
Oh, it's sensory overload. I'm overloaded with sensory. So overload more? God, maybe I am ADHD, or it's just Dave Ryan. 717-73. Catch this Rumble Grace podcast ever. David, I love you. I'll see you guys fucking Thursday.
Yeah.